Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby. I'm with Fitness is Medicine, and today I'm going to do a workout completely for your hips. So we're going to be stabilizing and strengthening and loosening and hopefully making your hips feel good. So first we're going to start off on a ball, just doing some hip circles. So you don't have to make these very big, just some small circles to kind of get some, get those joints loosened up, kind of get some blood flow to the area, only if it feels good. So go both directions for those hip circles. If this is really difficult as far as your balance on a ball, do it next to something sturdy so you can hang on. So you can, work on it while you're hanging on to something, and there's nothing wrong with that. This isn't a balance exercise or anything. I just really want to work on range of motion and feeling good here. So do it both directions. The other thing you can do is just kind of sway side to side, back and forth. Just kind of waking up those muscles, loosening up those joints, bringing some blood flow to the area, and hopefully just feeling good. So just moving around, not in as much a range of motion that's going to bother your knees. So if it does bother your knees, just, you can just kind of move back and forth this way, anything to just kind of bring some range of motion there. Okay, next I'm going to have you grab a ball or a pillow or even like a balance disc, anything like that, and we're going to do some knee squeezes. So you can stay on your ball, or you can do this on the edge of your bed or the edge of a chair, your workout bench, whatever. So just squeezing. So this works your adductors, which are the muscles that bring your legs together. And it also just really works on good pelvic floor and pelvic stabilization. So you want to make sure you're practicing this in a good posture. If you want to, you can put your hands on the ball for a little more stability. Of course, you can hang on to something sturdy, a chair, a bed, a doorway, anything that you have nearby that will help you feel more stable as you're doing this if you're unsure sitting on a ball. Like I said, you can also do this on the edge of your bed or chair or anything like that. So nice and slow. I want you to hold it for a good 3 or 4 seconds and then release. And then you also can control the amount of pressure you're putting on this ball. So if you're really squeezing the daylights out of it and it's hurting, just let up a little. You don't have to squeeze it very hard in order to activate those muscles. The other thing is, if you're feeling like, oh, I really want more, then you can squeeze it harder. That's okay, as long as it's feeling good. I want all of these to feel like they're working, but they feel good. Okay, next we're going to stand up and make sure all of those balls are out of the way so they're not going to make you lose your balance. And this one I want you to do standing next to something sturdy. And we're going to just do standing hip abduction. So AB, abduction. We're abducting that foot away from your other foot, away from the center. So this is working on those glutes again, working on those stabilizers, standing on this. If this is really difficult for you, standing at the kitchen sink can be a really good place for this, so that you can really hang on. You don't have to go very far. You can just go a little ways. And then if you need to, also you can step down in between each one. That's okay. Lift it out to the side, step down. Importantly for this one, I want you to stay nice and tall, keeping your torso. Ooh, my screensaver just decided to go on. There we go. Nice and tall. So I don't want you leaning over to the side and doing it like this. I want you staying nice and tall. Everything here is level. Your hips and shoulders are level. And then you're just pulling it out to the side. The other important thing is keeping that toe straight forward. Lots of times people like to let it drift out to the side, not on purpose. It's just that our quads and our hip flexors are stronger and they want to take over. Don't let them. We want to work on those glutes that might need a little more strengthening and a little more love here. So hang on. Sometimes I tell people you can even turn that toe in just a little. You don't want to have it way in, but sometimes thinking about that will help keep it straight so that you don't let those hip flexors and quads take over. So again, we're gonna switch sides, keeping that toe straight forward, keeping everything else level here. And like I said, you can go just a little ways, come back to standing, little ways, come back to standing, depending on your strength and your level of stability here. You can also hang on. I would do this at the kitchen counter. It's a really great place to do it. Or just using something sturdy, turning that toe straight, almost in just a little to really focus. And you're gonna notice that standing leg is getting tired too, especially after you've done a couple sets. So nice and slow and controlled. Don't swing it back and forth. Okay, next we're gonna do grapevine. So I want you to just, we're gonna step forward and then step behind. Step forward and step behind. So we're getting some lateral movement in. And depending on where you are with this and how stable you're feeling, one place to do this is along your kitchen counter, so you've got somewhere to hang on, even if you just go like 3, 4, and then back. So you've got some place to go hang on and be stable. The other thing is you can do it along a wall if you want something, you know, in front of you to help stabilize you if you're losing your balance. Or if you're ready to kick it up a notch, you can get up on your toes and go a little bit more quickly. So all along those levels, you decide where you're at and challenge yourself just a little, but make sure that you're in a safe space because you are crossing your feet and it's easy to get your feet tangled up if you're not quite used to that motion. Okay, now we're going to lower down to the floor, or you can lay on your bed, you can lay on the sofa. We're going to do some clam shells. So lying down, actually we're going to do opposite clam shells today. So lying down like you're going to do clam shells. So you want your hips stacked and your shoulders stacked and your knees bent with your feet up towards your hips. Now we're going to do opposite clam shells. So you're keeping your knees together, but you're lifting up your feet. So this is working your glutes in a little bit different way, working some other stabilizers. If you want to, you can also add in these clamshells like this. You could do both. It's not going to hurt anything. But we're gonna go nice and slowly, and I notice that I'm staying stacked. My hips and my shoulders are keeping stacked. I don't wanna, you know, kind of rotate in like this to get a little bit more range of motion. It's a pretty small movement actually, but my knees are staying stuck together and I'm lifting up that foot. Okay, now we're gonna switch over onto the other side. Knees, hips stacked, shoulders stacked, and your feet up towards your hips, lifting up that foot, keeping your knees together. Like I said, you can do both this one and the clamshells after you're done if you want. Nine and 10. Good. Okay, now we're just going to roll over onto your back while you're here, and we're going to do some bridges. So we're really getting those glutes today. For your bridges, I want you to think about flattening your back to the floor. So your hands are down beside your hip, your knees are bent, your feet are flat on the floor, and then, so I want you to flatten your back. If your head is up here and you don't have, like if your head doesn't touch the floor when you're lying on your back, go ahead and get a small, either like a yoga block or just a rolled up towel, or work nicely to try to keep your head supported. I find that a lot when I'm working with people that, you know, they lie down on their back, but their neck is up here. And so they're kind of like hanging out in space. So make sure your head is supported. You can roll up a mat, like a yoga mat or an exercise mat, and stick it under there. There's lots of ways to support your head so that it's feeling in a safe place as well. We don't want your neck to be straining here. So contract your abs, flatten your back, and we're going to do bridges. So lifting up those hips. We're going to hold it for a count of 3 to 5, depending on how quickly you count, and then slowly lower down. So flatten that back, squeeze your glutes, come up. And also, this is a glute exercise. So you want to be thinking about squeezing those glutes versus Sometimes people do this and they want to go as high as they can and they're really pushing their hips towards the ceiling. And that's not what we're trying to do here. It's really just about a small glute squeeze. So flatten your back, squeeze your glutes, press up. Really think about squeezing your glutes right here, squeezing your butt. All right, I think that was 4, 5. Flatten that back, 6. And notice too that my weight is in my heels here. You don't want your weight in your toes. You really want your weight pushing through your heels. Keep breathing. 8. 1 more. Flatten that back. Squeeze those glutes. Hold it up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good. Now we're going to stay here for the last one, and then we're going to do double knee lifts. So in this position, this is more of a core exercise, but we're just going to lift your knees, lower them down, almost touch the ground. That's 2. Now, importantly, that flat back is important here too. 4, 5. If you're having a hard time keeping a flat back when you get to here, stop, readjust, and go again. 6. That's the hard part, is when you get to here and keeping that back flat to the floor. And the more you bend your knees, the more that will be, the more easily you'll be able to maintain that flat back. If you find yourself putting your feet out like this, it's going to be even harder. So if you do have back pain, really focus on keeping your knees bent nice and close here. If you don't have back pain and you want to try to go a little bit further out, just really focus on keeping that back flat to the ground so you can really support your back and really engage that core. Okay, now go ahead and do those through a couple more times if you're feeling up to it. If this is your first time and you're just kind of starting to engage your hips, maybe just do them once through, but this is a good one to kind of get some good stabilization and some range of motion through those hips. All right, thank you everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Thank you so much.